So guys, I have to get going. So any last minute questions you guys want?
I think we.
Comedy and YouTube. I mean, you guys are comics, you sell DVDs. We also do say you do a lot of live shows. I don't know how many of those places film. If you allow filming at your shows, I mean, we're filming, but for you. I know that I watch comedy on YouTube. I try to watch it with the ads on. I don't. Most of that probably goes to the show, not to the comic. But I'm curious because a lot of times people put comedy on YouTube that's from DVDs. So I'm curious. I know comedy's probably not paying all the bills.
No.
So what do you think about
any bills.
The way
Creates a couple.
Creates quite a few bills. For the most part, there's very little of us on YouTube that we didn't put up there ourselves. For the longest time, there was an hour special with no sound of us. I don't know why.
Well, if you want to watch that.
I eventually was like, do you want to take that down? Because it's dumb. But for the most part, I hate it just because you're never going to get the experience you would at the show. But Mike Birbiglia said this, and I wholeheartedly
Do you NPR people?
If you are going to be a comedian, you are not in the DVD business, you are in the ticket business. So if they see something on YouTube that inspires them to go see your show, then it's helpful.
Yeah, that's Aziz and Louis C.K. do that. There was a time in the 80s where a comedian would get a set, and they would tour with that set, and they would just be that set. They wouldn't need to write a joke for a year more. Mm-hmm. And now with technology, and it's something Louis C.K. and Aziz Ansari kind of started this, but they would take their whole hour special, put it up on their website for free. So you could see what they're doing. They'd do another set, they'd write new jokes. They don't repeat, they don't go back, they just keep digging for more stuff. And I really respect that, and I like that. And I try, I'll repeat stuff, but every year I add stuff, so eventually the set's not what it was. So I don't mind if stuff's being recorded, it's out there, people can see it. It's better live, but I don't mind if somebody's like, oh, I've seen that joke.
This doesn't come up with much with jokes, but I found it. I'm not like a go out and watch everything on YouTube type of person, so I can still be surprised. But I got very disillusioned once when I saw speakers giving the same speech in completely different contexts.
There is the illusion that it's always a new show, and I actually got into a fight with my ex-girlfriend. Why she's my ex-girlfriend. Because I used to do this show that I used to work for. I did it every year, and it was a sexual themed show. So I would spend the year writing for that show and do 15 minutes, and then throw that away, and then come back the next year. Well, the year that I spent most of that year single, so I had a lot of single material. Then she came to the show. We had been dating for a month and a half. I'm on stage doing all this stuff about single material, and the next thing I know, her friends are screaming at me, why'd you just tell a room full of people that you're single? I was like,
it's funnier.
They're jokes. And they yelled at me, well then write new jokes. It's like, that doesn't just happen. There's this illusion that it's just whenever a comedian says the other day, it's not really the other day. It's last year.
Or never.
Or it didn't happen. It's a thought they had.
I've had, because I've written stuff and I'll change my relationship status, my sexual orientation, which is questionable anyway, just all kinds of stuff. And I've had people come up to me after shows like, well, how old are your kids? I'm like, oh, no, you've misinterpreted something here. But yeah, it's just whatever works. And it's another thing Louis C.K. does where he's just done with setups at this point. Yeah. And he's like, I was at a bar for this joke. And it's still funny.
And I can tell you guys, as dating a comedian, sometimes it's funnier for me to watch him tell single jokes because then I know they get a better reaction than if he's like, well, my girlfriend was a bitch the other day. I don't mind.
I got him.
Yeah. I find that my girlfriend was a bitch joke hilarious, but single jokes tend to work a lot better.
They're sadder.
They are.
Sad stories.
Berating yourself is probably the best thing you can do because it builds you up, you know your flaws, and you also kind of get the audience's trust more.
So.
Yep.
Plus our audiences tend to be single.
They do.
They really.
That's not to insult the nerds. That's just kind of the age difference.
I've noticed your Shemp hasn't said anything yet, so maybe.
Not a comedian.
Shemp.
What's that?
Do you have a question for me?
What do you do again?
That's it, show.